When Tony Hall is here, I think it was mentioned that we had one mayor candidate who was a living working artist. We have two. We have Terry Baum as well. Mayor Baum, approach the bench. 3 minutes for intro, then Q&A.
Okay,
there you go.
Sounds good. Hi, I am a living working artist. I'm a slightly world-renowned lesbian playwright and pioneer lesbian playwright. I wrote Dos Lesbos, which premiered in Oakland in 1981 and was the very first play about lesbians from a lesbian viewpoint that many women saw and inspired the first anthology of lesbian plays. So I'm very proud of that. And I've been involved straight through in theater. I wrote Immediate Family, that premiered in 1983 at the first Women's Theater Festival in Santa Cruz, and that's about gay marriage, actually. It's about a lesbian at the bedside of her comatose wife who has no say over her treatment. And that play was published, and it was done in Boise and Philadelphia, many cities. It's actually been translated into several languages, but what I'm proudest of was that it was done in Boise and Philadelphia when there was an anti-gay proposition on the ballot. So my play was used politically to fight this, and I'm very, very proud of that. I've always been in theater. I'm now part of a sketch comedy and improvisation duo, the Crackpot Crones, and we are pioneer funny feminists. Carol and I, Myers and I, we've been friends for almost 40 years, and we last performed at the National Queer Arts Festival, and we've performed around the country at 2 National Queer Arts Festivals. Also, I live in a storefront in Noe Valley, and I use one of my bay windows as an art gallery. So I have exhibits there, and if somebody here is interested, you'd be surprised how much foot traffic there is on my little street, Douglas. And I have exhibits, and I have a reception, opening reception for the artist, and it changes every couple of months. So I'm a patron of the visual arts for sure. And I really feel that I would be an advocate for the arts in a way that most of the other candidates wouldn't be able to be. I feel so strongly that we are just taken for granted, especially in San Francisco, and just given whatever little dregs are available. And I'm very, very shocked that we don't get our mandated share of the hotel tax fund, and that is absolutely ridiculous. And if I was elected, that would happen. I feel that San Francisco cannot solve its problems by itself. It's part of the country, part of the world, and right now the whole country is spiraling down in a terrifying way to the right. And the best thing that San Francisco voters could do for their city and for the whole country is to elect a green mayor, because I feel that that would transform the political dialogue in this whole country. We cannot on our own solve the problem of homelessness. The health care and pension issues can't be solved without national health care reform. There are so many things where we are dependent on the dynamic that's happening in this whole country. As much as we try to be an island, and of course that's the beautiful part of it, we aren't. And so I'm asking San Francisco voters to woman up and become the city that outsiders think we already are. We've always had the reputation of being leaders. We are bellwethers. We're in the forefront of social movements. And I believe that electing me because I'm a Green would be an incredible transformation in the whole national scene. And failing that, number one vote for me, each vote for me, number one is protest against what is going on. It sends a message to the big parties that we are fed up with settling for the crumbs that fall from the table.
And Q&A.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
What, in looking at our arts infrastructure and the way our funding for the arts is separated from the policy from the arts, how would you go about changing the infrastructure?
Well, I totally agree that we should bring as much together as we can. I mean, I think the grants for the arts and the Arts Commission, it's ridiculous to have them separate. I can see how it might be more difficult to bring in the fine arts museums. In other words, they might want to keep their autonomy, that's possible, but at least bringing the grants for the arts and the Arts Commission together. And certainly I feel very strongly that we need a San Francisco artist, well-versed in the politics of San Francisco, as the head of the Arts Commission. And there's probably several people in this club who would be very good candidates. And I think there's just been this shocking arrogance in bringing people in from the outside.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy.
I appreciated your overview a lot because I actually really agree with you on that we cannot solve the problems by ourselves, and I actually get sort of overwhelmed with the talk about America Cup all the time because it seems so kind of endlessly upper class and petty bourgeois, and like we're again trying to go into something that's sort of completely manufactured for a very short period of time, and then it's going to leave an enormous residue of problems when it's out of here, like we read about the Olympics and what happens to cities when the Olympics and those things happen. And I wonder if you could talk about, because you were in here when Bevan was here, and you know, there's a certain kind of demonization of poverty that goes on in America, and it goes on in the city at the same time. Like everything is constantly, there's always an effort to gentrify, even by everybody, you know. And I would like you just to comment on the benefit of distressed neighborhoods for creative fertility. Because like I just take Valencia Street, for example. Valencia Street was the hubbub of lesbian culture in the 80s, right? If you go down to 16th and Valencia now, it's been completely dressed up. They changed the sidewalks, they sprinkled all this crap on them. There's fancy restaurants all over the place, and now half the buildings are empty. They kicked out Modern Times, which should have been protected by the city as one of the, not Modern Times, but, was it Modern Times?
Yeah.
Bookstore. Modern Times bookstore's gone.
Yeah.
The guy didn't even have a tenant. You know, and that's the kind of oversight.
I just can't bear it.
I know. So anyway, can you say anything about
I didn't know that Modern Times was kicked out for no
they
tenant.
got kicked out, and the guy doesn't even have a tenant to put in. He just wants
Yeah,
to.
see, now that's the thing, that place that a mayor can intervene and just say, no, this is an institution, it has a history, it's part of our culture. I mean, those are the small things that an executive can do. I of course have this tremendous faith in artists, in the arts, as something that is just such a positive effect in so many ways. I'm for just a storefront in every neighborhood which is a cultural center, where the artists who live in that neighborhood get a chance to shape it. In other words, starting something small. I saw that, I mean, obviously, I don't have the intricate knowledge of government structures that Bevan has, or some of the other candidates who've been actually in office. But when he talks about bringing the stakeholders together to meet, I feel like that can go on forever and nothing can happen. Where something simple, like just a vacant storefront. Every neighborhood has vacant storefronts. And you and I know what can come out of a vacant storefront. You know, it can produce tremendous things for the community and really great art. So that's where I would really start. And also I have to say, in terms of this demonization of poverty, I went to a meeting of Poor magazine, which is this online magazine written by and for poor people. And the head of it, Tiny, she's the editor, has this tremendous vision of redefining poverty and news and all that. And it was very inspiring to me, I have to say, and really not just inspiring, but made me rethink concepts I had about poor people. Because she's all about redefining poverty as immediately negative, must be abolished in all ways, you know. It was wonderful. I highly recommend Poor Magazine. Tiny Garcia, something, anyway, she's really something.
I wanted to ask you, Terry, hi, it's Brenda.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Why do you want to be mayor?
Would you ask why are you running?
Why do I want to be mayor?
Yeah.
You know, I was the first progressive to throw my hat into the ring. So at that time, there were no progressives running at all. And when I talked to progressives, they said, what's the point? There's no chance. I said, how can you say that? Nobody knows the future. And I said, what the hell? I'm going to do it. And I think that came out of despair about what's going on in the world. Not me personally. I mean, the crackpot crones are, you know, thriving, but what I saw happening and this desire to do something to change it. And I'm a great believer in democracy. I've been very active just as a volunteer since 1970 when I started as Bella Abzug's personal aide. I spent 7 in the morning till midnight with her 7 days a week in her very first campaign. And so I've been very active in a lot of campaigns. I ran myself for Congress in 2004 as the Green Party, and I really deeply believe we need a progressive voice separate from the Democratic Party, I should say liberated from the Democratic Party. So I guess that's why, I mean, I want to save the world.
That's all. That's all.
That is as good a note as any.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Take care.